Alright guys, so we're going to jump right into this, and I'm going to knock out this full review from the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. I want to start by saying that Samsung got it completely right this time. There's always going to be people out there that feel differently. There's going to be people out there that disagree, but you're entitled to your own opinion. But coming from someone like myself who reviews devices, and I've purchased nearly every Samsung device, and I've purchased nearly every device that hits the market, top notch right now, pound for pound, the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge is knocking everybody out of the way. It's just that good. I'm not kidding around. I waited to do my review. I wanted to have the device for a little bit and use it, and I'm bringing it to you now. And so grab some popcorn, get your beverage of choice, a Gatorade, water, Sprite, whatever, I don't know. Grab whatever you want to drink and sit back for a second and really check out this video that I'm about to give to you. So before I get going with the review, as always, shout out to the Samsung Knights, keeping it real over there. Pro Sammy, I've always been. Now, let's be clear on something. Obviously, you see my channel. I do buy every device, or I shouldn't say every. I buy different brands. I have an iPhone 6S. I have LG products. I have all the different variety, but I'm telling you, Nexus and everything, pound for pound, this device is killing them right now. And I say right now because there's a possibility somebody could come out with a banger that just knocks it out the way. That banger might be the Galaxy Note 6, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, shout out to the Knights. Let's get this thing rolling right here. So I'm going to do this in the old-fashioned way that I used to do reviews. I'll read off the specs and everything, and then I'll get into my hands-on and how the device has been since I've been using it. This is my personal unit. I got this from T-Mobile. And I'm going to get into it, man. Check it out. So spec-wise, this phone is very sleek. It comes in only at 157 grams, 7.7 millimeters in thickness. It's running the latest operating system, which is 6.0.1. It does come in 32 or 64 with an SD card slot, but currently in the US, the 32s are the only ones to be found. It has a 5.5-inch Quad HD display, and that's 1440 by 2560 for the techies out there. The rear camera is a 12 megapixel camera. It has 4 gigs of RAM, a 3600 milliamp hour battery. This bad boy is rocking the beast Snapdragon 820. Exynos processors are monsters too, because I've had Exynos processors before, and they're rocking hardcore too. This has Corning Gorilla Glass 4 on the back panel. It's a nano SIM. It has my favorite Samsung Pay. This thing is waterproof, has a AMOLED display, obviously. It's got their new always on display. It's rocking TouchWiz, obviously. It's got the curve on both sides now, which is kind of sweet. I'm really feeling that. So it's rocking with the Adreno 530. It does have an SD card. Can take up to 200 gigs. I do have one in there. The front camera is actually 5 megapixels, and I'll get into the actual details about the cameras in a little bit, but it's got all your basics: Wi-Fi, ABGN, and AC, dual band Wi-Fi, hotspot, all that good stuff. Fingerprint reader, gyroscope, proximity sensor, compass, barometer, heart rate monitor, everything is in here. Fast charging, everything is on this bad boy. Wireless charging, you just can't beat it. So we're going to get into this and get this bad boy rolling. So now all the techie stuff is out of the way. So I'm just going to go down the list here like I used to do. Like I said, old school. I'm going to do it this way because I don't want to miss anything, because this device deserves some respect, and I plan on giving it to it. So let's start with what we all see here is the screen. Now right now I have just this basic wallpaper. I'm going to change this though and change it to a more colorful wallpaper. It came with this wallpaper right here, which is just kind of this blue. It's very pungent, very vibrant. But the screen it's on point, man. So you can change it to whatever, any of these, and this screen is going to shine out. Now I have the silver titanium version of the phone, so my version might look gold in some angles, but it's actually silver titanium. I've already done an unboxing and everything of it, so the color is hot. But the screen on this thing, man, coming in at 5.5 inches, it's kind of a sweet spot. The S6 Edge Plus was 5.7, It was a little bit more boxy and more rigid than this particular model. And hey, that's not a bad thing. It's just that Samsung did it right. They decided we're going to give up a little bit of the screen resolution. We're going to give them some waterproof, and we're going to give them a curved back. You know, they did all in with it. The curved screen on here though is gorgeous at every angle. Watching videos, just doing everything with the screen is really nice. Now, let's talk about the build quality. Now, here's where this phone really shines on a lot of its competitors. The build quality on here, they listened. Samsung did it right this time. They listened. Where's the camera hump at? It's barely even a hint of a camera hump. And then when you put a case on here, and I have cases, the camera hump, there is no camera hump. But they took care of that, man. They smoothed that out just about. It's doggone near smooth. Nothing there. So they took care of that. The back now is curved on both sides like the Galaxy Note 5. They took care of that. This thing flows in your hand, man. I mean, it is just beast mode. When you're holding it, it's so lightweight, compact, it feels good in the hand. And I've been rocking it here lately without a case because it just feels that good. It is a slippery device, so I'll probably put a dbrand skin on there, or I'll buy a really ultra thin case like I always do with all of them, and put that on there, and that'll just hug the body of the phone. You still get the original shape, but the body on here is fantastic, man. With the phone being waterproof, this time they did it with no seals, no plugs, no nothing. And I have dipped this underwater. I did a water test. I dunked it underwater, and everything was fine with it. It just popped right back out. Boom, water test good. And I dried it off, and then I kept on going. I kept it moving. But the body on here is really nice. As you can see here, you got the SIM tray up top, and up here, let me zoom a little bit. Inside the SIM tray is an SD card. Up top here, you've got a microphone. On this side, you've got the volume rockers. On the bottom, you've got microphone, speaker, charging sync, and OTG, you got everything. This bad boy does, and you got the headphone jack there. On the front here, you've got some proximity sensors and a front camera. It's a beast. And then down here, you've got the one finger print reader and button. So that's the build quality on here. The build quality is hot. I mean, overall, I'm describing everything about it, but it just looks fantastic. There is no going wrong with this device. Now, what's a downside? I'm gonna keep it real. I can't tell you everything about this is hot because I'll be lying. The only downside about this phone is this right here. It's so slippery. You know, it's shiny. I don't really care about fingerprints. You know, I can just get a rag or something to wipe it off, or get one of my cleaning cloths and just and wipe it off, and that'll take care of that. But you know, unfortunately, that's something that they still can make some changes with that by making it a lot less slippery. But with this, you got to compromise somewhere. People want a sleek design. They want a one piece. This is where Samsung's at right now. Who's to say they won't change this up and start going matte back here? I don't know. But right now, if I had to dislike something about the build quality, that's what it would be. How slippery it is, how shiny it is. But the flip side, if you're going to get one, silver titanium is the way to go. Boss move right there. Now, memory options on here. This thing comes with 32 gigs built in, but you have the option to do an SD card. And I'll show you my storage here. As you can see here, of my 32, I've used 12. So I got about 19 left or so. And then my SD card, I have a 200 gig card in here. And of that, I've used almost 45 gigs. I got 183 left. I haven't had any problem with the SD card. Nothing. No problems at all. Every now and then this thing is popping up again right here, where it's telling you to transfer media and photos and stuff like that, and it's telling you that the feature is available, but I just swipe it away and it stays gone for the most part. But there's a fix for that, and maybe I'll put a link in the description. I don't know. It's not my fix. It's just something that I found on the web, and I've been referring people to it. But as far as memory goes, the 64 gig is nowhere to be found in the US. Now, it might come later. You know how they do it. We'll buy this first thing that comes out, and then all of a sudden they'll bring the next one out. That's cool though. I'm not moving because this has an SD card slot. So the memory options is 32 gigs pretty much, and that's more than enough for the average user. But even for me, I don't even really need the 200 gig card, but I like to have the option to put my apps on the SD card, and you can do it with this phone. check out the other video. I'll have a link in the description for that. Now, what about battery? Uh, the battery in this bad boy is 3,600 milliamp hours. That is a fantastic battery, and to be put in here, because you see how thin this phone still is. And, you know, this just goes to show that over the years, they weren't giving us that big battery, but they really could have. You know, technology has gotten better. So now we've got a 3,600 milliamp hour battery in here, and we still get a small frame. And this is still 7.7 millimeters in thickness, but hey, it's got a 3,600 milliamp hour battery in there, and I can tell the difference. Reason being is because this bad boy can last a couple days, and I can still get 5.5, 6 hours of screen on time with almost 2 days of usage, and that is great battery life. Because I'm not on this phone a lot. If I stayed on the phone for a lot, I would be like some of the nights, some of the Samsung Galaxy, the Samsung nights over in the club. Some of them are getting 10 hours and 9 hours of screen on time, and you know they're going through a consistent usage of the battery more than likely. But I bet if they were to chill like me and ride it for a day or two, they'd still get 6 hours of screen on time or more, you know, 7 hours. Because this 3,600 milliamp hour battery with 6.0, the Doze feature is off the charts. It's just fantastic. So that is something that is flawless. Now, as you can see, I fired up my camera here because I want to talk about the cameras. And I just grabbing some stuff to take some pictures on. I'll grab my watch here and my rings. And the rear camera on here is a 1.7 aperture, right? The front camera is the same. Samsung came with it, man. They put them both with the same aperture. Now, one is a 26 millimeter on the rear, and the front is 22 millimeters. But that's not to say that they both are going to shoot differently. I'm going to take a picture here, right on camera here. Man, this is beautiful. Crystal clear. I took a picture of the rocks, and let's see here. On camera, you know, it's probably kind of hard to view it on camera. I got the lighting kind of bright in here because it's like 1 in the morning, but I got the LEDs lit up. But this camera shoots flawless pictures, man. I mean, I'm not lying. It's that good. Let me take a picture of the watch. The zoom on it, the quality is just sick, man. It's that good. I can't get that to show right, but man, I'm telling you, look at that zoom on there. That's crazy. These cameras that they have on here are phenomenal. I'm gonna show you some of the settings here. For the picture size, I just leave it. Let me zoom in a little bit here. For the picture size, I leave it right there. I leave it at the highest one. I leave it right there at 4.3. I used to do 16:9, but I got this beautiful camera on here, so I'm gonna leave it for the best resolution I can get it at. And I leave it at the 4:3 at 12 megapixels, which is 4032 by 3024. Very, very, very good quality. So if we go into the settings here, this camera can shoot. Let me just show you. All right, so you've got your 4K, your 2K, your 60 frames per second, your 1080p, 1440 by 1440. Yes, it'll let you do a 1:1. You got your regular HD at 720, and then you got the VGA. I mean, what more could you ask for? Every setting that you might want in a phone is right there. Here's the grid lines. I'll leave mine at 3:3. Some people don't like the grid lines when shooting, when opening up their camera. I personally like that though. It's got video stabilization. I don't know. It's got everything. You can see. You can set it there for the SD card. But just straight using a cell phone, if a person didn't know when they picked it up, you can just leave it as the default settings and take some fantastic photos. Point being, I don't have to give a long tutorial on the camera. The camera's hot. Just that simple. The camera is banging. All photos that I've taken have come out good. The video samples are good. The camera will not let you down. The front camera can actually shoot in 1440. That's amazing right there. That's phenomenal. The front camera on this right here shoots at 1440. Crystal clear. Now the OS, they kind of changed it a little bit. They just kind of made it faster. You know, it's hot. It's still fast. I haven't had any crashes, any problems. The older TouchWiz, I used to have some problems. If you know, I've always liked Samsung's products, but those that really remember, just keeping it real, you remember that short time frame for about a year. With the Galaxy Note 4, I hated TouchWiz. I just kind of fell out of love with it. But then when the Note 5 came out, I was like, boom, all right, so they back at it again. But when the Note 4 came out, the Note 4 is hot, but I just had so many problems with my Note 4, I just ended up getting rid of it. It just wasn't, I just wasn't feeling it. So I fell out of love with TouchWiz for a little bit. It was just felt clunky. And then all of a sudden, boom, they come back with the Note 5, and the Note 5 is banging. I don't need to do a comparison of those two. You know, the Note 5 is a productivity device, and this right here is your showstopper device right here. This thing really puts in work with the quality of the screen and the looks, the way everything about it. But the OS hasn't changed much. It definitely is a little cleaner. You know, it's faster. It doesn't feel as bogged down. Don't you like how the apps just roll off the screen? It's so sweet. But the OS is fine, man. There's nothing about it that I don't like. Everything. This is a skin right here, you know, so I can change the look of it just by long pressing and going to the themes, because they have their own theme store. This is the default theme right here. So you just hit the default theme back up, boom, and it'll change to the theme, and we're back. All the icons change back. All right, guys, so there is one thing that I wanted to touch on before I move forward, is the always on display. So the always on display is a feature that people have touched on, and they say, you know, hey, I think it might be killing my battery. There's just a bunch of mixed vibes on this particular part of the device. And as you can see throughout the video, I don't have mine turned on, but I still wanted to give it to you in the review. So you can set a clock, you can set a calendar, you can do an image. It's your choice. Now, most people have the clock, and I'll do the clock styles. As you can see here, there's a bunch of different clock styles. So when I first got the phone, I was running this one in the middle right here with the blue second hand. And these are the ones that you get to choose from. Now, I did try the calendar. I thought it was all right, but you only get these two to choose from. That's all you get. You know, it's a nice feature, but I found that having it off, it actually does extend my battery a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to extend it a lot, but this is a battery sipper. Now, Samsung says it'll sip probably 1%, I think it's saying. I don't know that to be true, but I would say, you know, it's time to turn it off. And it looks good, but it's a battery sipper. So the always on feature is sweet. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it sips battery. So it's up to you to leave it on or off. But let's get back to the video. And that's it. So go back to my theme that I like to use for now. And, you know, that's the OS. It's still fast. And you see how fast it's switching these things right here. It's hot, though. I mean, I don't see a person needing to do too many things like rooting. Some people who do rooting and all the ROMs and stuff like that, I'm personally not into that anymore. But I don't knock the people who do it. Hey, it's hot. If that's what you want to do, great. Your device. That's the great thing about Android, is you can customize it however you want. So the OS is still fast. It's still kind of the same. It looks the same a little bit. They just made the icon packs a little different. The design is a lot more lightweight, I can tell you that, because this thing flies. Even on the Note 5, it is fast. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about on the device, man. I'm going to get out of here, but there's a few features that I want to actually touch on that just make this phone stand out. And I'm just going to tell you what they are. First of all, it's waterproof. I've dunked this phone in water, just submerged it and left the camera going. I took it out and dried it off. You know, so if you do end up getting this phone wet or it goes underwater, when you plug in a charger, it'll tell you, you know, let's not charge right now because the phone just got wet. It's smart enough to figure that out, and that's pretty sweet. Next thing, it has a fingerprint reader right on the front. Now, I did get used to the fingerprint reader on the Nexus 6P and the V10 and all the phones that have a rear-mounted fingerprint reader. That's hot. I do like that. I'm not going to say that I don't. But this fingerprint reader has gotten better with every time they bring a phone out with the fingerprint reader on it. It just gets better and better and better. And this fingerprint reader is crazy fast. It's really nice. And I'm glad that they have it there because I can use that to get into the phone real quick. I don't mind using a pen or the little swipe gestures or whatever, but just having the fingerprint reader as an option, it's hot. I'm gonna get to that feature. I know the phone is called. I'm gonna get to it. It's coming up in a second. But for right now, it has fast charging. It has wireless charging. It has fast wireless charging. I mean, all those options are there. So my phone actually charges from 0 to, or about like 3 or 4% to 100. It takes about an hour and 35, hour and 40 minutes. That's actually pretty good, because in that hour and 40 minutes, at about 30 minutes, it's probably over half. It's just that last portion of it. It takes a lot slower to get it done. It has the options there: fast charging, wireless charging. It's hot. One feature that people love that they brought back was the SD card. Now the SD card right here, like I said, I got a 200 gig in mine. That's what the max is right now for this particular phone. Because I mean, why would I want to have a terabyte on my phone? I don't, I don't see the purpose of that. But 200 gigs is more than enough. But the fact that the option is there, and this is a waterproof phone, that says a lot. It's got little seals in there. No covers or ports anywhere. It's all done. And they did the waterproof kind of from the inside out this time. And having an SD card is hot, especially on a waterproof phone. Now they gave a little extra cable for USB host, OTG cable. They gave the adapter free. That's what I'm talking about. That is hot. They did the right thing this time. They gave you something so you have everything out of the box. The only thing they didn't include was a case, if anything. Now, this phone does come in the US. It comes in silver, gold, and black. And then the other color that's missing in action is the white. It is a white version of this, and that white version is hot. The guy up on Pocket Now, Anton, he got the white version. It is hot. It's fire. Now, what's the main part of the phone that I didn't discuss yet? Edge. This is the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. The Edge feature on here, I have mine set up with the weather. Now let me just go into the settings here. There are a bunch of things that you can actually put here. I got my weather. I got one for apps. I got my calendar. I got some people set in there. And then I also can add my data usage, my RAM stats. I downloaded some of these. All these different things here. Sports, stocks. And if you go to download, there's not a lot in here extra to download, but the fact is they're there. Now some of these do cost $1.50, but if you're gonna fully use the Edge panel, I suggest that you just go ahead and buy it. It's only $1.50. You spent $800 on the phone. Go ahead and buy it a little $1.50 joint and put it on there. You got these right here is what you can put on there. So none of these cost more than $1.50. The messaging one is kind of hot. But there you have it. You can actually go into here and you can move. I have mine at the bottom. As you can see, you can move it up. The default is about right here, and the default is actually over here on this side. I have it on the left side at the bottom. I'm right-handed, but for some reason I use my phone in my left hand a lot. I don't know what that's about. You can change the transparency. You can change the size of, make it large and big. How big you want the swipe thing. I just keep it at medium because I think that's kind of middle ground. Maybe I'll change it to small for a little bit and see how that works out, and then put it to about, change the position of it to about right there. I'll check that out and see how that works out for me. But I just have mine like this, man. I've got some apps right here. I've got the weather, and then I think I got my calendar, and I've got people. Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, what more could you ask for on the Edge? So, gave you a little bit more detail on this full review, but I'm telling you that the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is the device to buy. Now, I have been waiting on the G5. I'm still probably going to get it because, I review phones. I buy them, I get them, I test them all out. But I'm going to close this one out and tell you this. There's no phone out that's touching the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Period. The Galaxy S7 is hot, but I would recommend that everybody gets the Edge. Jump on out there and get it because you will not be disappointed. So it's your man Jay Will. I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I touched on most of the things that people want to know about. And gonna get this thing going and keep it cracking with Samsung all the way, man. I mean, I can't wait to get my hands on a G5. We'll probably rock the new iPhone. Somebody in the house will buy it, and I'll review it. Got some surprises coming on the channel, though, so y'all stay tuned. Again, I'll see you guys later. It's your man Jay Will. Shout out to the Knights, as always. Peace.